Hey everybody, JJ here, back again with a Saturday of Zoom networking. And I'm really excited about today's call. We have a young man on who is at a pace where he's sub two communities, one of the, I'll just say one of the local leaders for Southern California. I know they've had different types of titles, but he heads up one of the groups, sub two related group here in Southern California. He's a father, family man, real estate investor. Like all of us, he started as a student. Now he's a very successful entrepreneur, leads his own group. I'd like to introduce my good friend, Mr. Justin Cudjoe. How are you,
Hey,
Justin?
good, good. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Just we've met a couple of times now. I love your personality. You're always nice and polite and friendly, and you're very, very impressive. I want to
Thank
thank you for coming on today.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So, for those that don't know you, whereabouts do you live? Where are you located?
So I'm located in the Inland Empire here in Highland, California. I host meetups in Rancho Cucamonga every first Thursday of the month. Been I think we've been at it for almost like a year and a half now. As JJ mentioned, I'm part of Sub 2, but our doors are open to everyone, right? You
Yeah.
don't have to be in real estate. I think we do bingo night in Corona as well with just, the community out there. So we're just networking. Like JJ taught me, continue to network.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. It's always about, not asking for anything, but offering. And I'll hear brand new investors go, I don't have anything to offer. I don't have anything to offer. I'm new. We all have something to offer. And I tell the people that I meet that are looking to join my group, I want the most valuable thing you have to offer. And what that is your friendship for every single person. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're on the call, the most valuable thing you have to offer is your friendship. Um, there's nothing more. And people say, "Oh, it's my network, it's my time." No, without your friendship, I don't get your time. I don't get your network. I don't get any of that. So,
Mhm.
I always tell everybody, and Justin's led with this, and now he's recognized one of the recognized leaders of Southern California is pursue the relationship. We all want to bring value, but get to know people. People get to know you, and that's going to be key in what you're doing. So,
Yeah, I agree.
your
I,
topic today, young man, is running a successful wholesale operation. That is probably what everybody's here for. We've got a good number of people on the call.
Mhm.
Um, you're in sub two. What did you do before you became a real estate investor? Just curious. How'd you get going?
Um, so I'm actually still a registered nurse, full time at Kaiser Permanente. So, been in healthcare field first, right? Uh, got into real estate because my fiance was an agent and I had some free time on my hands, and her broker had a wholesale company division. And long story short, joined them, made like few calls. After maybe my fifth call, someone said they were gonna sue me, so I hung up the phone and didn't pick it up for like another 6 months. But good learning event doing that. So yeah.
So you're in the medical field first,
Yes.
then through um, your
Through
girlfriend at the time.
relationship. Hmm.
Yes, the relationship you were introduced to this. So how long from that point did you move into, and I know you're in sub two now, which is a paid education community.
Yeah.
Did you find that right away? Did you do bigger pockets before that? Did you
Oh,
what
good
what
question.
what was your path kind of before you came to Pace?
Good question. So I joined a few mentorships. I joined I charged up with Chris Jefferson. I think I joined Max Maxwell's community as well prior to Pace. Joined a few memberships. You know, kind of got the ropes of how to do wholesale real estate through them. And funny thing is, I had a multifamily that I locked up, and one of the buyers told me, "Hey, you should have the seller sell this to me on seller finance." And that's kind of how I got into the rabbit hole. And I'm just like, the heck is seller finance? And so dug into the rabbit hole, found Pace Morby's videos, and quickly gathered it and learned how to do it from the YouTube. And I told the seller, like, yeah, I'm not too good at this. How about we just sit down for lunch? The buyer, sorry. I told the buyer, let's sit down for lunch with the seller, and the buyer explained seller finance to the seller, and they did. And after that conversation, I told myself I need to find who's an expert at creative financing and join their community and learn. And actually, before even doing that, I sold a seller finance deal, 0% seller finance deal to Munif Saza. And in that relationship with Munif, I asked him, I said, hey, I'm on the fence with joining Sub 2. Why should I join it? And he said, it's not really a membership. It's more of a community. And that was the catch for me, right? Just because I didn't really have any real estate friends, and I was like, I love community, so why not join a membership, mentorship, or whatnot, where it's a community base where I'm making friends and making family members and just learning from different people. And it's been what 3, 4 years now, and all my best friends are in sub two or something around sub two, and just generating relationships is a big thing.
Yeah, that's so true. And obviously, you've led with your personality, your heart, your character. People, got to see who you are, and that's what's impressed me the most. And that's a lot of what we talk about is networking to build those relationships. So you
Hmm.
got in. I know that obviously people get in by themselves, and then eventually they decide to build their team out. Sometimes it's adding VAs, adding local people.
Hmm.
Your topic today is running a successful wholesale operation.
Yeah.
Um, as you've done that, have you utilized VAs at all for what you're doing?
Yeah, I still work with VAs. 100% still utilize VAs. I kind of started doing that. So, yeah, still do.
Give us the outlay, give us the outline. What does it look like to run it?
Okay.
I guess you have to build it before you run it, right?
You definitely have to build it before you run it.
So
Um,
yeah,
so
tell us.
I really think understanding what wholesale real estate is, I tell people you're not really in real estate, you're more in sales and marketing, right? It's kind of a misconception. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm in real estate. Yeah, you're selling real estate or technically selling a contract, but you're in sales and marketing, or marketing and sales. But you have to understand the three. I call them the three towers or the three pieces to a real estate business, which is lead generation, right? And that's where the VA lives or your lead manager. So that's how you generate the leads. And then after the lead gen side of the business, then you have the acquisition side of business. These are your closers. These are your people that, jump on the phone after the lead is generated to lock up the contract. Then after that, you have disposition, right? Disposition is the person who sells the deals, right? And you may have your TC involved in the disposition side of things who handle the paperwork and stuff. But those are the three pivotal pieces. And I really see it as like a river or something. It all starts with lead gen. If you have a bottleneck there, you're gonna have a bottleneck everywhere else. And as long as it's flowing correctly, all three pieces, you should technically have a successful business. I call it printing money. You should be printing money.
That sounds great. Hey, we got some new people on the call today, as we'll have new people watching on YouTube weeks and months down the
Mhm.
line. For those that are on their first call, they've really not really jumped into this yet. What we know the traditional way of buying a house is the house is for sale. We give them the cash money, they give us the deed, it's closed, we own a house. What is wholesaling?
So, wholesaling is you pretty much have equitable interest in a property via a contract. So you say I come to you, JJ, and you technically can do it with anything. Say I come to you, hey JJ, I want to buy your iPhone, right? You and I draw up a contract saying Justin Cudjoe will buy JJ's iPhone for $200. Me knowing the market value of your iPhone is $1,000, I go to another person. Say I find someone named Kelly. Hey Kelly, I have this beautiful iPhone and I want to sell it to you for $500. So me and Kelly draw up a contract. Kelly will purchase this iPhone from Justin Cudjoe for $500. Both contracts are in what we call title and escrow. So they take care of like the legalities of things. Some states are attorney states, right? But that's gonna muddy the water. But nevertheless, to keep it simple, I take both contracts, I put it together at the closing date. Kelly brings the 500 to the table. I take two out of the 500. I pay JJ 200. JJ gives me the phone. I give it to Kelly. I keep $300, and I just made a wholesale transaction in a sense. And me getting under contract with you provides me with equitable interest in your property. And obviously, the contract specifies that I have the right to find a buyer like Kelly to complete the transaction.
Okay, and that's in its cleanest description. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's kind of the, the simplest I could get.
Yeah, no, and I think you did an excellent job. I guess what I'm getting at is there's something called a double close.
Yes,
And on occasion, if you're buying something from one person and selling someone else for a little bit more, sometimes you don't want that first person to know you're making money on the deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's kind
Yes.
of what you described, though, right? You've got the first deal for 200 and another for five. And in that scenario that you just described, both people don't necessarily know about the other. You're just kind of
Yeah.
marrying them at the same time.
True. So, with our company, we like to keep it transparent. So we let the sellers know what we're doing. The 100% our buyers know what we're doing. That's kind of why they're our buyers.
Correct.
So, but if ever we come across a situation, which we have, where we're looking to make a ton of money on the transaction, and we kind of want to make sure it can go clean, we definitely double close, right? We get a transactional lender, close with JJ first, and then close with our buyer simultaneously. You can 100% do that. I prefer to keep everything transparent and clean,
Mhm.
just because at the end of the day, I'm providing a service to someone, right? I'm helping the seller with their situation. So obviously, I have to keep my lights on. So I'm working to get paid. So I let the sellers know exactly what I'm doing. Open contract, tell them up front, and vice versa with the buyers. The buyers know exactly what we're doing. Title company, everybody's 100% aware of what we're doing.
Well, and because you've earned your right to be here because you've built your network, you built your buyers list. The
Hmm.
original seller doesn't have that network. They don't have that buyers list. So by them
Hmm.
coming to you for assistance, you're now able to leverage your relationships, leverage your buyers list to provide that seller with what they're seeking. And then, of course,
Exactly.
having established your buyers list, you're doing all the hard work up front. You're finding the investment opportunity. You're bringing it to them for what for them is a very agreeable price.
Hmm.
And so,
Exactly.
yeah. Now, when
Exactly.
deals get bigger, is there a point where it's advisable? I mean, like a monetary level where it's advisable to do a double close,
So I would
are they,
say, like,
or are they not that common?
for my company, they're not that common, right? We've done transactions where it's like 60K, and yeah, like I personally think if it's above a 50K transaction, you probably want to consider a double close. But nevertheless, I if they're not that common. So yeah, you see double closes, but I feel like this technically my hat, everyone. This is called my closer hat. I wear this hat because I get on the phone. I just got off the phone recently, and I wear this hat. It's kind of my superpower, right?
Cool.
So
I
I
love
feel
it.
like if you're a closer and you know what you're doing and you know how to talk to people, technically don't need a double close. You can work the relationship and work the conversation to get it going to where you don't. But if you have to, if there are situations where you have to, I had a property before where the seller um the seller was the trustee and his sister was not in the trust at all, but she was on the verge of suing him. And like she didn't want him to sell it. So unfortunately, not unfortunately, but just to help the seller out of his situation because that's all he had, we had to double close on the transaction so we could quickly get it done. So we used transactional funding and we closed on the property and we had our buyer come in, I think like a week later to finalize the closing.
How big is your team? You have your company. Have you built out a team? Are they all local? Are some people part-time?
Yes.
Are people full-time?
I have three VAs. We have five acquisition people and one disposition manager. So that's the size of my team. No one is local. We're 100% virtual. Um, And yeah, we've always been 100% virtual. Um, I I hire my people commission based only, but a little secret that I'm only giving you guys because JJ's the man is we hire our people through Indeed, right? You Some wholesalers are scared. I don't know why. They probably only stick to Facebook, which is okay. But I hire my people through Indeed. I tell people in the sub two community that if you've joined this community, 9 times out of 10, you're probably looking to be a business owner and not an employee. So technically, if you're coming into my company, we're looking for employees. Yes, there's growth. Yes, we have employees that get equity into properties and grow with us, but I'm looking for someone for the long run. So we stick with Indeed. We hire, army moms. We hire fathers who, want to stay at home with their kids. So yeah, that's kind of what we look for.
So that's indeed.com.
Yes, Indeed.com.
Mike Evans, you're on with Justin. What's your question?
So I always have this question, like a gray area about wholesaling, because if you're buying a house subject to, and then you're going to assign it to an end buyer or even another wholesaler, there's still a potential for that end buyer or wholesaler to default. How do you handle that with this original seller, that he needs to know that you're selling or assigning that contract to an end buyer that could or could not, you're not getting their credit checked, you're not checking their background or their employment status or anything like that. If they default, how does that sub two contract revert back to the seller, the original seller, and a
Um,
wholesaler?
good question, Mike. Uh, honestly, when I sell creative deals, I 100% look to sell those deals to people that I know, like, and trust, right? I'm not shopping them around to John Doe. I sell my,
That's what I was hoping you were going to say,
Yeah.
because
yeah,
that's important.
yeah, I sell my sub two deals to people I know, like, and trust. Yes, at the beginning of my career, I sold my sub two deals to just anyone because I didn't have a big buyers list. But to be honest, it's just being transparent, right? There's always a risk with real estate, especially creative deals, just because unlike cash with like subject to a seller finance, you're kind of in this dance with both the seller and the buyer are dancing together for a long period of time, right? So I would say you guys should have each other's phone numbers. You guys should have each other's emails, the closest relative's phone number, because anything can happen and you probably want to stay in contact with each other. But then another thing too, when a seller sells their house subject to the existing mortgage, that seller is in some form of distress, right? I say people who sell on seller finance are looking for gain. People who sell on subject to are looking normally have pain, right? So, they're not doing that because that's the best option. They're pretty much selling it subject to because that's like the only option, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't buy a house subject to if I can buy it cash. It would make no sense. There's too much risk. I have to deal with the seller. I have to deal with title. I mean, they're mortgage company. So, but to answer your question, I would keep the buyer and the seller in close communication. I would make sure I vet my buyer. I wouldn't sell my subject to deal to someone that's new. And if I do sell it to someone that's new, I'll still vet them. Like JJ said, work with people like, and trust. So I'll make sure, I vet this person prior to getting them in bed with my seller, just because you're right. They can come back to my company. They can come back to the agent who connected us. People can be sued if someone defaults on the mortgage. So definitely make sure it's a reputable buyer that's purchasing the property.
And isn't there some kind of law or something coming out or has been passed about wholesaling where you can't do it without a license? And I mean, that's always something that I wonder about, because if you're not licensed and you're wholesaling,
Mhm.
what's your take on that?
You know,
So, yes, some states have the law. I think South Carolina, you cannot wholesale in South Carolina. Oklahoma, you cannot wholesale in Oklahoma. Illinois, but there's workarounds, right? You get transactional funding, like JJ mentioned, and you can double close. right? Or close
Hmm.
the deal yourself, or do it creatively where you can figure out a way to transfer the title and the deed. So there's definitely workarounds. In Arizona, you have to disclose that you're wholesaling. I think in Oregon, you have to get a wholesale license or something like that. And as a company, every Thursday we talk about the market. We talk about things that are switching, new laws. So we stay on top of this. But at the end of the day, if need be, we can close the deal ourselves and resell it, right? We're not new to this game. We do have relationships to make it work. But as I mentioned, I'm providing a service. I know wholesale has like a bad taste in people's mouths, but really all we're doing is trying to help sellers with their situations. Whatever it is, we're going to listen to the seller and we're going to see how we can provide value and help them with their situation.
Then the only other question I had is if you're assigning it to an end buyer, you need to make sure that those two parties have that same telephone information, emails, mailing address, all that stuff, so that they can communicate too with each other, because you're basically out of the picture if you assign it to an end buyer. Is
Yes,
that is that
if it's subject to, yes, they should 100% have each other's contact information, because things switch. I don't know if you own a house, Mike, but if you do, I'm sure you get letters that saying, "Hey, your mortgage is going up," right? If I purchase your property subject to, I won't get that letter. So you probably have to call me and let me know, right? So things change. They should 100% have each other's contact information. But I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a part of Sub 2 with Pace Morby. I'll be the first to tell you, I prefer cash. I'm sure
Mhm.
other people do as well because the transaction is done. The only reason you do Sub 2 is because that's the only option.
It's the
But
last option, right?
yeah,
Basically.
the little to no equity, right? Um,
Yeah.
but I 100% prefer cash. Yeah, cash, you're done with the transaction.
I'm actually living in a sub two that I bought, and the seller and I, even though I had an agent in the middle, the seller and I are in constant communication. I mean, I have his text, information. He has my stuff. He knows where I live, obviously. So, and
Mhm.
that's huge. And I would not want it any other way, because, if for some reason I can't make the payment, he's, going to get the house back. And so I have to make sure that he's getting his payments on time, and the bank is happy, and then there's no issues with, the notice, or what do you call it, the due on sale and all that crap.
Mhm.
So that thank you so much. You really helped me a lot, because I've been having these questions in my head, about
No
wholesaling,
problem.
but I want to do wholesaling. I just have a lot of questions.
Yeah, like JJ said, find relationships first. I think that's the biggest thing. Talk to people, generate relationships. JJ has a big community of people that you can talk to. And you never know. There's probably somebody that's in your shoes, Mike, that's looking for a homestead home that they want to move their dogs into. And,
Hmm.
that has a good job and that can pay that mortgage. And you have that subject to deal that can help that person out. Yeah, at the end of the day, just providing service and helping people is really big.
Thank
Also,
you so much.
Mike, I want to throw in there, guys, if we have anybody on the call right now, we have a number of people in Southern California, even across the country, that haven't spoke to Mike before. Mike is new to the group. He's not registered yet, but let's welcome him, reach out to him, show him how we extend ourselves so that we can help him. Mike, we're here to help you build your network of real life relationships, not asking for anything, but to help you learn how to walk the walk of leveraging social media to market yourself.
Hmm.
You can squeeze the
Yeah.
juice out of the orange. How can we help you meet people that can help you with your business? So you should be getting some people that will help you with that. I've just sent you a text message. If you could reply, make sure we're on the same page. And as Justin said to start with, he's built his visibility, he's built his network, he's built his name. If you're not memorable, you're forgettable. The guy's coming on with a pink hat and a pink shirt, brother. He stands out in the room. People know who he is. So these are some of the things that we're going to help you with. But did we answer your question, Mike?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm still learning. Actually, I've been in sub two for 2 years, and I'm still constantly learning. I'm on the daily dials with Caroline Kane, and it's amazing how much I learn each day after
Every
even after
day,
2 years. Yeah.
every day. Yeah.
I
So
went to the Sub Two meetup in San Diego a couple of weeks ago. It was last week actually.
Steve Anderson,
So
that's right?
yeah, and I met Mark Mitch Roy.
It's
I met
Roy.
him, and I actually met Pace, and I got a picture taken with him, and that was the highlight of my whole Sub Two career so far.
There
Just
you go.
getting to shake hands with Pace.
Well,
So.
where in Southern California do you live, Mike?
I'm in Coachella Valley. The house I bought is in Indio that I'm currently living in, but I'm also doing a midterm rental on it. So
Mike, get out to our June event coming up. Let's you and I catch up. But come on out.
okay.
We're going to have a 1 day seminar on Friday on lending, and we're going to have a networking picnic on Saturday, June 21st. We'll have
So
easily,
that's the picnic you were talking about?
yeah, and let's you and I get together after the call, okay?
June 21st. You bet.
All right,
Got
brother.
it.
We got Rob Howdy, otherwise known as Money Rob, online. Hey, Rob, you're on with Justin. You got a question for him?
Yeah, thanks, JJ. Hey, Justin, how you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Good, man. Thank you. Appreciate your time today.
No problem. No
But
problem.
hey, had a question, man. I'm in sub two,
Hmm.
and I'm considering what's the best way that I can connect, reach out, and start establishing relationships with wholesalers. I'm in SoCal as well.
Hmm.
If I already have acquisitions and dispo in place.
What are you looking to connect with wholesalers for?
To be honest, I'm so new to this still, but I really like pre-foreclosures, expired listing, thing like that.
Okay. So, I would I feel like if you're looking to connect with wholesalers and you're in sub two, just grow your personal um page, whatever, on Facebook, right? So post on Facebook, like JJ taught us, get into people's things and comment and like their page, because Facebook is, at the end of the day, it's an algorithm. So the more you post on Facebook, the more people will see you. And once you're active in the Facebook community, then you can ask your question, hey, who's a wholesaler in Southern California? Would love to connect with you. Here's my phone number. Give me a text. Show how you can provide value or ask what you're looking for. I know a lot of people that will help you out. My number is right here or right there.
Yeah, I got it.
So take my number down. I can 100% connect you with a ton of wholesalers that are in the Inland Empire where I'm at, in Orange County and in Los Angeles and Ventura. Definitely can connect you with wholesalers in the SoCal area.
Okay, I really appreciate that because it's something I've been doing little by little, something I really want to go full bore with. But
Mhm.
today, with you being here, man, it kind of makes sense.
No problem, no problem. And are you looking to wholesale yourself?
No, I'm not. So
No. Are you
I don't
looking
have the hustle and I don't have the hustle and bustle to be moving around like that.
are you looking to buy some deals?
Not yet. Like I said, I've been doing this close to a year now, and I've been with JJ from the get-go, and I just started concentrating on my visibility, and that's all I've been focused on. But it's crazy, you find out that the more transparent you are, the more relationships that you make, deals start coming to you, and now they are, and I'm kind of like, what do I do? So
So,
it's
Rob,
great.
you'll be at the picnic in June. You'll get to sit down with Justin in person.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You
Definitely.
get a chance to meet with him, spend some quality time, and you guys really get acquainted. I think the world of both of you guys. I consider both of you very good friends of mine. So, looking forward to getting you guys to build that relationship.
Cool. Appreciate it. But Justin, thanks, man. Appreciate your time.
No problem, no problem. Thank you, Rob.
Troy Caudell, you're on with Justin Cudjoe. What's your question?
Hey, Troy.
Hello, thank you for being here. I have a question I like to ask all wholesalers that are on high level. What is your opinion on, instead of doing a double close, building the relationships with realtors and working through them? I mean, for states like Illinois, where I live, that you can't wholesale in.
I think it's very important. I do agent outreach as well. It makes a ton of sense, right? Agents, if anyone's ever an agent or if anyone's an agent on here, as an agent, you're pretty much hustling and busting. So agents are always on the phone. They're always building relationships. They're door knocking. They're cold calling, and it makes a ton of sense to not have a relationship with them, right? Whoever's in the business, you should know, right? So I always say like you should my saying is have your ear to the soil and you kind of know what's going on, right? So, yes, build relationships with agents, go to dinner with them, make them your best friends, build relationship with wholesalers, build relationship with contractors, build relationships with bankers, right? Anyone who is in a real estate transaction, I think you should have a relationship with. 100% agents will bring you deals. So it's needed. And I honestly say the best route to it when you're talking to an agent, just be honest with like what you want to do, your approach, right? Your plan. And you'll be surprised how many agents will just love to work with Troy because Troy provides value.
Jumping back into your topic again, um, being about running a successful operation. This is probably like a long 7 days a week and long days every day, right? I mean, it's not easy getting this going.
Believe it or not, like I said, I'm still RN, so I probably do it 2 days out of the week.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yes, I have a partner. So I got to the point where my partner is helping out for like the 5, 7 days a week thing. But I'm big on time blocking. I'm big on my calendar. So I tell people I don't have a 9 to 5. I have a 5 to 9. So I wake up early. I do what I need to do on that end, and go to sleep a little late, not too late, but you can do it with 2 days out of the week. It's just you have to figure out your approach, right? Like I said, it's marketing and sales, so you need to figure out how you're going to generate the leads, how you're going to sell it. And I've never done a deal by myself, like Pace said, so you need to figure out who's in your corner that can help you.
So, do you have like with your time you do have available, do you have like a weekly meeting or something where you bring people together and you discuss things on a regular basis or look at the flow or how we did last week or last month or anything like that?
So with my team, we do daily huddles. We meet every day at 7:30, and on Mondays we set goals of what we want our week to look like. Every daily huddle, we do gratitude of attitude. So we start every meeting, talking about what we're grateful for. And yeah, I have daily huddles with my team, with the executives of my company. We meet once a week and we talk about KPIs and
Yeah.
how things are going and what we're tracking.
Mark Presswood, you are on with Justin. What's your question?
What's going on, Justin? Thanks for sharing all the value today. And JJ for taking us a tour of the home today. That was awesome, brother. The question is, most people say it takes money. So, what kind of money to start this business? For the newbie, to the seasoned vet, what kind of budgets do you think they're gonna have to put together?
Good question, Mr. Prestwood. Yes, it takes money. When I first got into it, the thing was like, oh, get into real estate for free. Yeah, definitely not. It definitely takes money. You need some type of funding. Funny story is, I probably, had a business and stopped that and did it like 3 times totally. The third time, I had a total of, what was it, like $4,000 in my bank account. That was sometime in 2023, and I invested that into the company, right? So yes, you need systems. You need a CRM. I don't know if anyone uses Deal Machine. Deal Machine helps you pull a list without paying skip tracing fees because that can get expensive. So you need a CRM. You need somewhere to pull the list, or you can go directly to agent, but you still need a CRM. You I would say you should get a VA if you have a time constraint, which I do. So you need a VA to generate the leads. So when I first started, our overhead was somewhere under $500 a month. That year, it's actually 2022. That year of 2022, with the $4,000 investment, I think we made a total gross net worth of $100,000. So from 4,000 to 100. But I started somewhere, right? And I don't think you can start with $0. Yes, I actually you can. It's going to be a little harder, but should have some money.
Cool, cool. So, yeah, no, the other example from one iPhone to the other, that was freaking that was a great example.
Oh, yeah. I talk to a lot of people that don't know real estate, so I try to explain like what I'm doing without complicating it.
No, but cool, cool. So it's a little bit of skin in the game to get it going.
Yeah,
But
and you can do it for free, right? Zillow has the agent's numbers. You can just go directly to agent, or you can join someone's team,
I,
right? I did that when I first started.
I,
So, there are ways around it. But if you want to run your own business, I would say come to the table with like $4,000. It's not a lot compared to what you're gonna make, but you should start with some money.
I like your first example though. Jump on a team, find out if you even like it to begin with, apprentice out, like
Awesome.
apprenticeship, you know?
Yes, 100%. Join a team, right? There's a lot of people that's doing deals that, has a structure, has SOPs. So yeah, join a team. Why not?
Absolutely. Cool, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys both for putting this together and uh,
No problem. No problem. Are you a Chargers fan?
no, since you were talking about iPhones and stuff, I just, this is when my good friend JJ,
That's me in the picture.
yeah,
Oh, wow, JJ, you look buff. I thought that was a
I
football
am buff.
yeah,
player.
I, well, JJ took me to the SoFi and I met this guy. So I just said, "Hey JJ, come and meet my buddy JJ right here, so you can see his QR code." And he's just, I met him, and I just told pass him to JJ. So I was wholesaling one guy to the other.
There
So
you go.
all
Yeah,
right,
we actually I've got Charger season tickets, and they allowed us to sit on the side of the field down below there. So, Justin, brother, you want to go to Rams or Chargers game? Just let me know, and we'll be headed to SoFi.
there it is.
Yeah, there we go. Definitely would connect with you about that.
All right,
So
Mark, did that answer your question?
yeah, I feel like I'm right there at the event right now. But I appreciate you, JJ. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. So, if people want to start their own wholesale business,
hmm
what should they start with? Do they where do you see what are some of the key ingredients that they need to assemble?
It starts with mindset, right? You kind of need that mindset. I don't think it's for everyone. I think depending on like your situation in life, where you're at, because it is time consuming. Yes, I said I only dedicate 2 days a week, but outside of that, while I'm at my W-2, I'm answering phone calls. While I'm at church, I step outside and answer phone calls. And literally when I was having a baby, answering phone calls. So, it's definitely something that you probably want to figure out like where you're at in life and what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, there's all types of ways to get into real estate. You don't have to do wholesaling. You can be a connector. You can connect one person with the other person, right? You can be a TC. You can be a lender. You can be a contractor. You can be an appraiser. You can be a realtor. So there's tons of ways to get involved in real estate. But I feel like if you want to create a wholesale company, just understand it's going to take a lot of your time. Um, Try your best. I wouldn't jump into it without talking to someone or joining a team and figuring out how they do it, because you kind of want that front row seat to see how companies being ran, right? Um, but it's doable. I think anything in this world is doable, right? If you have the passion and you have the drive, you can do anything you put your mind to.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I've enjoyed seeing you grow and
Thank you.
watching you take off and build your business, build your group, build your visibility. Um, you know, and I'm loving the pink hat and pink shirt. Loving it, loving it. If people want to connect with you later, maybe they're on the call right now, maybe they're watching on YouTube weeks and months down the line. I will ask you, are you taking on mentees, proteges? Do you have a training that you do it all? Are you looking for people to volunteer as an assistant? Is there any way people could work with you or learn from you? And if so, maybe they just have a question. How would people connect with you down the line?
I say get your debit card out. No, I'm joking. Here's my blink. Put it in the group chat. But my phone number 323-608-4316. I think that's personally the best way to connect with me. just because I'm always on the run, please shoot me a text, shoot me a call. I'll get back to you when I can. You can definitely find me on YouTube, J Cudjoe. I do live training there, calls. Also, with the Inland Empire, we do have a community in our group. It's REIGIE, so Real Estate Investment Group of the Inland Empire, Reggie. So you can find us there.
I got one last question for you. We've kind of talked about it. We've woven this through basically our whole conversation, but
Yeah.
there are so many real estate education programs
Hmm.
all over the country. There's people in over 50 of them in my group alone. And whether people are, joining these groups or just coming, we have a couple people on the call now that have just come to the call, not being in a group, but they've just come to the call to learn about real estate. But there are people coming to social media every day. Some of them are very experienced, some of them are brand new, but they're learning to see what social media, what they can find on the internet. And with that, meeting people, which means networking. As your experience as a real estate investor and a leader in the substitute community, how important is it to leverage social media and network to build relationships, to build one's business?
I think it's very important. It's kind of like what your business hinges on, right? Because real estate is always going to go up and down and up and down, but I think relationships always flow. I think it's important to be interested, not interesting, right? So, always pick up the phone, call someone, learn more about them, because working in healthcare, real quick. I know we're short on time, but
You're good. You're
working
good.
in healthcare, one of the saddest things I've ever saw, because I deal with a lot of people that pass away, a lot of death. One of the saddest things I've ever saw was when this one guy passed away and died. The guy lived by himself, had no kids, no, actually had one child, but he had one child, no wife, no friends, no family. When the guy died, normally when someone dies, I call their family, hey, John Doe has passed away. Would you like to come over so you guys can see him before we put his body in a bag? Would you like a funeral? Would you like us to set up funeral arrangements for you guys, or where would you like me to send the body? So one guy recently, he passed away, and he had nobody. All he had was his neighbor. I called the neighbor. Hey, John Doe has passed away. He said, okay, thank you. I'm like, would you like to come see him? No, it's okay. Where would you like me to send the body? Ah, don't worry about it. And
Leave it
I thought
there.
that, yeah, I thought that was the saddest thing ever, right? So, life is short.
Yeah.
Yes, it's fun to make money, but I really think the biggest thing that you can do in life is generate relationships with others.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, whether it's Facebook, whether it's walking down the street, talking to someone, just be your genuine self, and you should connect with people.
Yeah, that is so true. When I was spanking new to the investment game as a student many years ago, about 8 years ago, I asked a young man in Southern California who was pretty well known at the time. I said, so what's the deal about these programs? He said, the programs are great. The education's great. The coaching's great. The curriculum, the training, the live events are great. But the real value in what you do here are the relationships. And if you're not making lifetime relationships with proactive, successful people, you know, you're not doing it right. That's the
Mhm.
true value. And so I agree with you 1,000%. And, it's so nice to hear what you're doing and your perspective and your approach, because it's all right, it's all correct, it's all the right path, and
Mhm.
I'm really proud of you because
Thank you.
you know you're presentable, you're professional, you're well spoken, you're an excellent presentation of a young man that anyone would want to do business with. I think you've done an outstanding job. Um, with that, I'm going to say, if you guys are watching on YouTube right now, and you want to get a hold of Justin, keep in mind that what you do want to do is connect with him on Instagram. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel. If you're going to send him any kind of a connection on Facebook, meaning a friend's request, always send a message to introduce yourself. Never send out a friend request without sending a message. If you'd like to connect with me, you can scan this turquoise QR code, register for my networking group. If you'd like to see Justin's video, the other videos in our YouTube channel in the past, or those coming up, uh, scan the purple QR code, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on the call right now, guys, do not go away. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Justin a bit, have a little bit more quality time with him. We're going to have live breakout rooms. So Justin, I guess we're about wrapped up for now, my friend. We'll see everybody else in the breakout rooms in a bit. And for those that are out there in social media land, we'll see them through YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all those platforms.
Yeah, pleasure. Thank you for having me, JJ. And whoever contacts me, I'll reach back out to you, and I would love to create relationships. Make sure you guys register for JJ's links, and I'll see everybody at the picnic. And if people's coming from out of state, JJ has a place for you to stay. If you want to be here in the Inland Empire, contact me, and I'll have a place for you to stay.
Let's make that happen. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.